we start drinking during the podcast?
A drinking podcast? This early Caleb, it's the first episode.
No, not a podcast about drinking. We just drink and let it go from there.
You just want to let alcohol write the show?
Exactly.
Perfect. Hey,
Isn't that how a lot of shit's done nowadays?
Probably. You ever watch TBS?
Absolutely.
It's a lot like
Not
that.
really though, but yes.
Welcome everybody to the Slim and Slam podcast. I'm Steve. Caleb's with me. If you're joining us for the first time, which almost all of you should be, considering this is our first episode, we'd like to welcome to the show personally. Just tried to record a different kind of episode, and turns out we both hated it. So instead, we're gonna bullshit for half an hour, go from there. So if you're along for the ride, thanks for being here. I'll give a quick rundown about who I am, and then I'll pass the mic over to Caleb and let him do his own thing. So I'm Steve, aka Slim. That's where the name comes from. I'm Slim, he's Slam. I'm from the Midwest. I went to college to be a computer programmer. Decided that's really, really hard and don't want to do that anymore. And so now I'm trying to become a personality on the internet, but instead of like a fake personality, it's just me being an idiot.
First episode was the fake personality.
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, so for context, and I'm sure the clips will go up at some point, we tried to talk about Runzas, which will make more sense in a minute when I let Caleb kind of talk about himself. But Runzas is a restaurant in the Midwest that's exclusive to a singular state, and they sell these little hot pocket type burgers that just really aren't very good in my opinion. But anyway, we'll get to that later. So Caleb, did you want to do a little quick rundown of you?
Yeah. I'm Caleb, also known as Slam. This is the first time you're hearing my voice for this podcast because I'm cutting out everything else of that. But I'm also from the Midwest, surprise, surprise, and the little known part of the world known as Nebraska, aka not known at all. Also known as the home of the Runza, which we'll get into later. But I grew up on a farm, did all the farming stuff for 18 years of my life, decided I didn't want to do that anymore, moved up here to Ewald, South Dakota, and went to college for network administration. Also decided I didn't want to do that, and now I do help desk work and work on printers every day of my life.
So basically what we're trying to say is we're a couple of nerds from states on the list of states people forget when naming all 50 states, and we don't do what we go to college for.
Yeah, pretty much. We paid money to end up not doing the thing that we wanted to do.
Yeah, that sums it up. So
Yeah.
a little bit of background. We previously did a podcast before in college, but it was zero planning, and it's kind of like one of those things where you just wake up one day and decide you want to be an astronaut, so you head to the NASA place and you're like, hey yo, can I be an astronaut? And they go, get out or we'll shoot you on sight.
Let's do the shoot you on sight part first. But yes, I know exactly what you mean. And actually, what did you think of our first podcast? I enjoyed it a lot. Everything that we did in college, those 2 years of my life, greatest of my life. Because it was just nonstop fun.
That's what happens when you're roommates with a cool guy like me who does stupid stuff like not go to class. But it was fun. That's one of those things that we looked at. We were like, let's do that again. And so here we are now with less planning than we had there, but I spent more money on it this time.
Yeah, that is true. And by more money, I guess we didn't really spend any money at all.
No. So it used to be we would get all the guys in Discord, and I would pull up Google News, and we'd look at Google News and go, oh, we could probably talk about that. And then nobody knew anything about it besides me, the guy who read the article. So it was kind of I would go, all right, so I saw this thing on Google News today, and everybody would go, ah, and that was the end of the topic.
Yeah, that's pretty much about how it went, because I don't think any of us read the news besides you.
Right.
So there wasn't really much to go off there.
Look, nobody reads the news these days, so I could have said anything, and you guys would have been like, oh, yeah. I could have been like, Tyrannosaurus Rexes have come from the moon to invade Poland. You guys have been like, yeah, for sure, I saw that, yeah.
Where's Poland again?
I have no idea, dude. I failed geometry.
Fair enough. I also failed geometry and had to retake that. Not really, but, I probably should because Nebraska school.
Bro, all I'm saying is if math wasn't in like school, I'd probably, have a PhD or two.
So, what would replace math then, if given the choice?
Lacrosse.
Come,
Mandatory lacrosse.
lacrosse?
Yeah. Everybody
We
has to
barely
play
had enough
lacrosse.
people for a football team at my school, and you want us to do lacrosse?
Look, are you familiar with the concept of Iron Man football?
No, I'm
Okay,
not.
so like Iron Man football in like small towns is where, you have like 12 guys on your team and everybody has to play a position on offense and defense. So like
Okay.
lacrosse Iron Man is you only have one guy on the team and he's every position.
Really?
No, but that's what it would be in the Midwest
Oh.
because there's one kid who knows how to play lacrosse.
Fair enough.
It's like in gym class where your gym coach goes, "All right, today we're gonna play soccer," and you have one kid who didn't grow up, in a place that only knows football as the American style, and he just dribbles around everybody all day. It's like that, but there's nobody else to dribble around. It's just the one kid playing lacrosse.
Fair enough. That's it's just when we started talking about Iron Man football, that got me thinking back to, I think it wasn't 2019. I want to say it was 2018 probably, when I moved into the apartment with you at college, and we watched the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure. Do you remember that at all?
Yeah, that was like when we didn't have a TV, but we had the big projector.
Exactly.
Yeah, so for
Um,
context, we had this giant projector. So we both worked at the help desk at the college. And every year they would just get rid of equipment at the end of the year. So every like 8 months we would come home with just like random piles of crap. And one of them
Yeah.
happened to be a projector. So instead of buying a TV like normal human beings, we were like, whoa, it'll be so cool. But we didn't like have a mount or anything. So we just had a tote upside down in the living room that became the projector table. Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't mean to interrupt your Super Bowl story, but that's
no,
what
that's
we were doing.
perfectly fine.
A couple of
It was
college
just
dudes.
thinking back after all the experiences in there with it was just a great fun time, and I think that's what people are missing out on sometimes, that don't get to just pile into a room with four random strangers and then you go and have fun.
Well,
But
especially nowadays, right? Like it's hard to remember, so we graduated in May of 2019 and it feels like yesterday, but that's, besides the fact that there was a giant global pandemic that like made time go at the speed of light. So it was actually 3 years ago ish.
jeez, it was 3 years ago.
Makes
It is just a time skip. This is literally just a shonen anime, and we're the people within the time skip, while some protagonist out there is gonna fight COVID.
Yeah, this is
one of
the
these
alternate
days.
timeline where burgers didn't take over the world.
Rap. I could have fought back that. I would have been the
Watch out.
protagonist.
Just eat
Um,
burgers.
Yeah.
What were
But
we
with
talking about?
the
Super Bowl, right?
we were talking about Super Bowl and XFL,
Oh, right.
because
XFL.
that was the year that XFL got brought up that it was going to come back.
Yep.
That might have been late 2017 too, now that I think about it.
I
But
think you're right on the money with that, 'cause I think they ran a year of the XFL or something, right?
right. And I just remember this one clip of a guy in the 2018 Super Bowl where he tries to jump over, somebody catches his nuts with their face and just body slams him to the ground. I think I got a video of it on Snapchat somewhere. Maybe we can throw that up as a short or something. But just moments like that really make the time that you have with your friends and just meeting somebody and spending time with them. But since we did talk about the XFL, did it really only come back for a season and that's
Well,
it?
So it came for a season with McMahon running the show, and it existed, and then like COVID hit, and then they didn't do the thing, and then The Rock bought it, and The Rock's been trying to come back, and they keep pushing it. I don't know. It's a weird, confusing thing. But when it does come back, I kind of hope they just give everybody swords and say sword fight in the middle of the field. Because at this point, I'll do anything to watch live bloodshed, man.
Yeah. Oh,
Game of Thrones isn't doing it for me anymore. I gotta watch real people die.
Game of Thrones and Starbucks just isn't the same anymore after.
Is that where we get demonetized? 10 minutes into the show, I talked about murdering people in front of a live studio audience.
I don't know. It's possible.
I don't know. They released the Joker on film, man. It can't be that bad.
Did they? Yeah, that's true. That's very true, actually. Gosh, the Joker. That feels like it was ages ago.
It was. It was like, I don't know, 2017. Hold on. Using the computer.
I think the Joker was 2019 because I'm pretty sure I saw that in theaters, or maybe it was 20. Was it 2019?
It was 2019.
It just feels like it's weird to think that it's already 2022, and it has been 3 years since, well, like 2.5, that we've been out of college.
Nobody knows anymore, man. I'm pretty sure the last like quote year has just been like a lifetime. I could be 35 for all I know. I could have 2 kids somewhere. And I just no idea. I'm 35 and I woke up from a coma yesterday and
decided to start a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't know what to do. So I'm gonna talk into a microphone and hope somebody answers.
Oh man.
So I know you know this, but the audience doesn't know this. I bought a 3D printer this week. I always wanted one, but I never quite had the funds to like have one. So I went out and I bought one. I got it home, built it over the weekend, and we're recording this on Monday. So it's been a whole 2 days of me having the printer. And it turns out once you buy it and put it together, that's not where like figuring out how to not be an idiot ends. You can't just push a button and go, haha, I'm printing stuff. But because every time I run the printer, all of the plastic goop just comes off the printer and I just am left with a big blob. And I'm like, I tried to print like a box and now I have a large lump of plastic that looks like, like a garden gnome pooped on my desk.
Okay. Don't you have to put glue or something down on like the...
I think so, but I don't. I'm not a very crafty guy, so I don't have any glue at my house. So I'm like, okay, what can I put instead of glue? So I've got like packing tape, and I was like, well, maybe I'll try packing tape. So if you put the packing tape upside down, if you never had a 3D printer, you might not know this, but 3D printers have a heated like print bed, like at the bottom of the printer where you put the stuff on. That's heated. Plastic tape melts. So now I have a print bed with tape permanently taped to it, and it turns out when you get tape hot, the sticky part is no longer sticky. So I just have a plastic film on my bed. So that didn't work.
Great.
So then I was like, okay, what else? Well, I've got lots of I cooked quite a bit, so I have lots of oil, but like that's not sticky, right? So I'm like, well, can I mix the oil with something? So I don't have any of that. So basically, I just made a giant mess around my printer trying cooking ingredients on the printing bed. And now I've got nothing. The whole thing's ruined. I gotta throw it out. It's not worth it. I'm gonna go buy a Subaru or something instead.
Okay, you're gonna bring that up now. Do you want to talk about the Subaru then?
Yeah, you go. Tell them about your dream car, and then I'll shit on it.
It's not my dream car. I'm building my dream car right now. Well, and even that's not the dream car anymore. The dream car changes when the dream car wants to change.
The dream car changes based on money, I think, is what happens.
That's also true. And there is not much of it. But essentially what happened is my car is very close to being paid off. And before I got this car, it's a Jeep, but not a Jeep that you want to have. It's a Jeep Compass. No one's probably ever heard of it unless you're a soccer mom or it was gifted to you for a college car or something like that. But essentially, it was what I could afford at the time because the Trailblazer, if anybody is tuning in from the old podcast, that Trailblazer has let me down more times than I can remember. And I had to call into the old podcast from a subway bathroom and join in that way because I was bored.
Yeah, maybe we'll put a link to it. Maybe, I don't know. But that podcast is called The One Where Caleb Dies, just for reference. So if you could find it, good for you.
That was number 2. That was the second episode too. Crazy stuff.
It's hard to remember because the episodes are out of order on YouTube. I'm probably not going to bring up the name of the podcast because I'd hate to affiliate us with that one.
Yeah.
But so I used to put just like a random whatever in the background because it was just on YouTube. For the third episode, we had a friend of mine come on the show. We had a really good show. For the background, for the video, I stole some stream of like a cricket game.
He's a pirate, but not the cool pirates.
No,
but a pirate.
It was like I think I took it off like a Reddit post or something. It wasn't even in English, and it was just a cricket game. Like no, I didn't put any branding on it or anything. It was just a cricket game. And we talked over it.
Yep.
And the video got pulled down for copyright reasons, but the guy who copyright strike does not have any content on YouTube. So I don't know if that's how it works or not, but I was like, well, whatever. So hopefully that doesn't happen this time. I'll try not to put foreign sports over top of this episode.
I'm starting to think that maybe there's just an algorithm that somehow can clip videos too. I don't know. All I remember from that is getting a video in our email of puppets talking about copyright strikes. And
So yeah, when you get a copyright strike taken on your account, they used to send a video of Muppets like telling you why copywriting is bad. It was like 4-minute Sesame Street episode where they told you you're an idiot for stealing somebody else's shit.
yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Even though I guess we did steal it, there's no way around that.
So yeah, the original
Should have
plan
put a wire.
when that video came in was to then take the video they sent us and record over that one.
That was the
funny.
consensus. Now that would have been very fun to do. And then we'd get copyright striked, and then the channel would actually be taken down. Which at this point, who cares?
Right.
Um,
Exactly. You know, it was one of those things where you just try something, throw it out there, whatever, and then you see how it goes. And it turns out when you're a criminal, there are consequences. So, with that being said, Caleb, let's take a quick 5-minute breather. It will not feel like 5 minutes to the crowd, though. They'll get a quick little ad read, and we'll be right back. So this week, there's actually not an ad. If you like what you hear, feel free to subscribe on YouTube or check us out on Spotify at Slim and Slam Podcast. We're looking for ad reads to place in our show, and if you'd like to place an ad, feel free to email us at the email in the description of this video or on the About page at the podcast. That being said, let's get right back to the show. Thanks for listening to that ad break for us. We don't make any money from the show at all yet because it's the first episode, but if you want to change that ad break could definitely be yours to have. If that's what you want to do, go ahead and contact us at the email in the description of this episode. So, before the break, talking about all kinds of random stuff, but you wanted to talk
the one
about
that we remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that we actually remember talking about was the Subaru.
Okay, so
because I had trailed off onto old podcasts and being stuck in a subway for 5 hours. That's besides the fact. What the point I was trying to get to before was I'm close to paying off this car that I've had for the past about 3 to 3.5 years now. Close to paying it off. And another friend comes along and says he's looking at Subarus. I said, I'm looking at Subarus before, even though I don't need another car. But I love the wagon style WRX because wagons are cool.
No.
And why would you get the generic basic version of a sedan? Like, you can get any car because it looks like every car out there. But the wagons, those are cool. I like the big door in the back.
Okay, so one of the reasons that sedans is all people own is because sedans aren't ugly.
Wagons are cool, though.
So-
You like wagons.
I do not like wagons, bro. Like, maybe a big station wagon, I'm like, yeah, I can flip that upside down, put it in the water, and float for about 20 minutes.
Okay, well, just to get this out of the way, if I put a big boxy station wagon over top of the Subaru wagon, would that satisfy you?
I think I would probably throw up.
Onward, what were you going to say?
So for context, Caleb owns like 700 vehicles, and 1.5 of them run. He has a bike
I think we're down to half now.
that he spent half of his life savings on. He has a Jeep that he sold his kidneys for that barely runs. And now, granted, when I say Jeep, I mean like not the cool like, oh yeah, I'm climbing up a hill Jeep. This is the show up and get your 2 kids out of the car for soccer practice.
The most off-roading it's done is this past weekend when we went over a little bit of ice that was piled up in a driveway.
And I thought I was gonna die. Then, so after those 2 vehicles, he has 2 different Mustangs. He has a 84 and a 93 or something like that. And one of them doesn't have an engine in it. The other one's waiting to get the engine that was in that one. Does that one even have heat? Neither of them have heat, right?
No, there is one. One has an engine in it. It's missing a transmission. The other one, I was using as a backup car because yes, the Jeep did break down, and I was stuck using the Mustang for travel to work back and forth. And for those of you that live in the Midwest, you know that that's scary as shit when it's snowing and icing out because it's rear-wheel drive. It's got no winter tires. It was just to be a beat-around car.
So
But now it's
basically-
leaking coolant.
Yeah, so basically what I'm getting at is Caleb's garage is full of bad ideas and wasted money. But
Yeah.
we want to go with the hatchback, which I would argue is a more bad idea just because it's ugly than everything else in your garage.
But if it's ugly, that means it runs well, correct? Am I wrong in saying that?
I don't know, man. I don't run very good at all.
That's because you're cute. You can stop by my apartment later if you'd like to.
Damn. All right. I see how it is. So I was giving Caleb crap for probably an hour on end because to me, a hatchback is like the weirdest vehicle to buy. Because there's like reasons for wanting it. Do you want to run that through the reasons?
Well, I want to also say this. It wasn't just an hour that we ran through this. This was on New Year's Eve. I don't even remember what we were waiting for. I think we were waiting for somebody to sober up some to play a game, or he was taking a leak or something.
For pizza rolls is what we were waiting for.
Ah, yeah, that's probably what we were waiting for. And we spent an hour on New Year's Eve. We could have been doing something super fun. And we argued on why the hatchback is cool. At least that's what I was arguing.
We
and
did
he
not
was...
argue why it was cool. I argued why buying a hatchback is like buying the cross between a plane that doesn't fly and a boat that doesn't float. That's where we were at.
I do remember that. God.
Look, a hatchback is like if you took a 3-year-old, which 50% of the world likes, right? 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
But you plugged in the attitude of like your bad TV toddler, and then painted it bright purple. That's what this car is in style. This isn't like one of your nice like little Focus R type hatchbacks, like the real modern slick style with just like the raised back and the big. No. This is like, I don't even know, man. I don't even know where to go. Like, if you went to like a 90s film, this is the ugly car in the high school parking lot. That's what this is. I mean, that's what you were going to buy instead of, I don't know, a car that goes fast or one that drives all the time.
I mean, if you keep it stock, it can drive all the time. I'm just saying. It's when you start to add the fun parts to it that it can explode a little bit. I mean, there's always a car that explodes throughout the ages, right?
Is there? I don't know, man. I've watched like 12 Fast and Furious movies, and I've never seen a car explode once.
Yeah, but
do I fall asleep between the first 5 minutes and the first 10 minutes? Maybe, but that doesn't mean that cars explode in those movies. I've never seen it.
But you also did not fall asleep in the latest Fast and Furious movie.
Alright, so we went and saw the new Fast and Furious movie at the theaters. It was like all of our guys group. There's like 7 of us there. We go into the theater, and we had just finished watching, like, I hadn't seen all the Fast and Furious movies before we went and watched this one. So we had just binge watched over the course of 2 days, like, entire series. I'm a pretty decent, I enjoy film, and I would say I'm decently knowledgeable in like the cinematic world of like how things are done well, you know.
Yeah.
And so we went and watched this movie after I just watched the series progress from like, oh yeah, we steal cars and we drive fast, to we're gonna put a submarine in the cars and whatever the fuck Fast and Furious was. There's some stuff there that is not doable, and they did it, right? So they can also, like, the Rock and Vin Diesel are suddenly, like, there's a part in one of the movies where, like, Vin Diesel, like, holds, like, probably 4 tons of concrete above his head. Like, they're just superheroes, right? So we go watch this 9th film. And it's good, and I'm laughing, I'm having a good time, and then they get to the part with the Fiero. Spoilers if you haven't seen the film, but they slap a rocket engine to the back of Fieros, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna fly that into space. So they fly that into space, and that was it for me, man. That's where I knew that movies had peaked and nothing ever better would come out.
What? You know they're gonna be coming out with a 10th one, and I'm sure I kind of hope that's where they end the series. That it's been going on for a long time. I mean, it's a series that I've grown up with.
The highlight of that movie is they're gonna put train wheels on a Golf.
No, the highlight is the title, and they better call it Fasten Your Seatbelts. But that was something that was talked about ages ago, like when Fast and Furious 5 or 4 even came out. where they're like, "Oh, this is gonna go on forever," and then number 10 is gonna be called "Fasten Your Seatbelts." Well, now we're here, so they better make the right move, or it's just done.
I think
Like,
it's
I don't know how you can top space. All it is just going to be the title, "Fasten Your Seatbelts," and then the credits.
It's gonna be one of those like click it or ticket ads, and it's just gonna be the animated seatbelt clipping, and then the credits will roll. So I think that's all the time we've got here for today. Thanks for joining me, Caleb. We'll see you guys all next week for the second episode.
All right, see you guys then.